Recently, the stock exchange also, became very, very ICT conscious, changed their form of trading to the new one, the extreme trading, and then we now have X Alert. So many things and so many government parastatals are beginning to key into, boosting their various arms with ICT. Where do you see that happening, or where do you see that putting us in the next couple of years, especially on the technology map?
Well, the fact remains that sector, every sector in society today needs one form of technology or the other to function effectively. So the more we adapt to it, the more, it's very easy. Corruption can be stamped out, maybe not very easily, but very swiftly with ICT. A lot of things that people say, you know, that if there's no political will, there's no need. If we keep at this pace and we will do it genuinely, then we'll see a lot of change happening. The issue of ghost worker, the issue of corruption, the issue of this, a lot of things. ICT, in fact, the beauty about IT is that it leaves a trace. So it means that if you set up a system and then somebody comes and manipulates the system, all you need to do is bring the creator of the system or somebody with a higher skill to find out who at what time did what, and it's done. There's no leave all the stories. The stories are just a way to just, with ICT, a lot can happen. Security, in Lagos, for example, how can you secure 18 million people without technology? How do you want to do it? If you put one policeman on one street, how many things can he do? So you need street cameras, a lot of things that we begin to think about that is based on technology. So if we keep at this pace, then of course, there's a brighter Nigeria. But a lot needs to happen. A lot needs to happen in terms of investment, in terms of sensitization. For the businesses out there, you must understand something. If you are an expert in a particular trade, and then you refuse to adapt to the internet, the internet is a no man's world, as it were. So if the expert refuses to take his or her position, and the quack takes the position, because it's a make-believe world, there's a possibility that the quack will be now regarded as the expert, as long as the quack can play the game. Then, of course, when it comes to delivery, then the quack might mess up. But then, on the onset, people will begin to go to the quack because why? That's who they can see. He's the one in their face. So with the internet, as a business owner, you have to be in the face of a potential client. That's the fastest way for you to get clients today. So we've not seen anything yet, both in terms of the government, and we've not seen, in fact, even not for the resistance to change, a lot more would happen. A lot more will still happen. A lot more will happen.
Now, you mentioned social media at the start of this conversation, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the rest of it. How can a business, already trying to promote itself? We already have them online on us. But how can they use social media to properly, really put themselves in the face of consumers?
Well, the first thing first is that social media gives you an opportunity to position yourself and to sell yourself or your business as an expert or as a business to meet or to deal with in that industry. So with technology, with social media, what you need to think about is the kind of content you pass out. That's the first thing. We're all on social media today because of content. It's more or less content of your friends, of your social circle, content of pictures, photo. That's really what it's all about. So, of course, what you need to do as a small business owner, is about content. If you look at the big people, the big players in the industry who are pushing out, they're pushing out content about their business, the value that they believe they will add to clients. So, for a business owner, the very first thing you do is content. Find a way or do your best to generate as much positive content as you can and then push it online. And you have to be concerned about it. Now, because it's a very rowdy world, so you just need to find a way to be unique about it.
Then how can they, in a bit to carve a niche for themselves in this very rowdy cyberspace, how can they make sure that they don't get sidetracked?
Well, and that's why they need to start with a goal. What is their goal of being on social media? If their goal is to get clients, then stick to their goal. If their goal is to sell their brand, then stick to their goal. It depends on what their goal is. It depends on what their motive and the expected outcome is. For some people, if a government, for example, if a government institution is on social media, they're not there to sell, as it were. They're there to increase their brand as an entity or the overall brand of the government. So it depends on what the goal is, but it's just a process, and the process is that you need to communicate and interact with people. You need to watch out for, and that's what is called online reputation. You need to watch out for what is being said about your brand, and then how to tackle it quickly. Then you need to, of course, be very, very conscious about what your team I mean, especially for multinational and for very big companies, you need to be very careful about what your staffs and your team members are saying about your business online, because I mean, embarrassing things could be leaked out, and you will now start to do damage control. And that's one thing that we must all understand, is that there will come a time where damage control becomes necessary. Maybe not your fault, maybe your fault. Something just happens that has to do with your brand or your business or your person. Then there's need for damage control. So you just have to be ready. If today Jesse Jackson had his account hacked, and then nude images were posted, or funny images were posted, well, he came out and he issued a press release that it wasn't him. Now, the truth of the matter is that that is a damage control process. The point is that Jesse Jackson's Facebook account released images that are not worthy of his person. So whatever followed is damage control. So at every point in time, a business must understand that a need for damage control might arise and must be ready.
So what are the other major risks involved in ICT applications to business? I know you mentioned some of them already, but could you just let's really talk about it? As you said, there's an advantage and also a disadvantage, but sometimes I feel the disadvantages are more.
Well, I think there are disadvantages. I mean, I'll be the first to admit. I mean, disadvantages of security, disadvantages of a lot of things. But
what of impersonation? Because you have people who hack this account, and so I could probably, or not me, somebody could probably hack into an account and pose to be a very big brand name and promise that we can deliver this to you and all the rest. And for instance, because I'm comfortable with buying from that brand, so I might not necessarily say, okay, let me see the product first before I pay for it. I might just go right ahead and pay.
Yes.
And then at the end of the day, it's not the company that I usually do business with that I have done business with.
Well, you see, the issues you're raising are the issues you can't rule out. It happens. I mean, every now and then, even the big companies out there experience data breach. I mean, Yahoo with all their security experts, every now and then people get to hack into, smart guys get to hack into their, not people, they're actually very smart guys. They get to hack into their system and take wreak havoc, expose people's passwords. So it happens. Security is the number one challenge everybody has when it comes to the use of technology. Security. I mentioned something about the Internet of Things, and honestly, it's going to affect businesses too. It's not just going to be individuals. Today you have smart offices, you have digital offices, you have offices that everything is controlled. You have smart television sets. Recently a fridge was used to send spam messages, not a laptop.
Fridge.
A refrigerator was used to send spam messages. Because you see, everything connected to the internet would have a unique IP, and anybody can exploit that. So the number one thing as a business to prevent issues is password. What kind of passwords do you use, both on the enterprise and on the individual level? You must, as a matter of policy, ensure that every single member of your team use very secure passwords. Do you know, or would you believe that the most common password is the word password worldwide? In 2013, the most common used password is PASSWORD. So any smart hacker, because it
doesn't take a smart hacker to know that. It doesn't. I mean, anybody can know that. The person might probably use password, or the person might use date of birth, or the person's first name.
And so what you do, just go to Facebook, search for the person's name. If you're lucky, you can get the person's date of birth, and you can just try it out. Some people use their place of birth. Now, these are very simple, and that's why you must be smart when you do. These are very simple ways. I mean, that's why I talk about ethical hacking. I mean, ethical hacking is allowed as long as you follow the process and you report the steps that you followed to.
Okay, so how can these risks be reduced? Is there any way? Because it seems as if it's such a huge thing to be playing with, and you wonder if the risk can be reduced in any way.
Okay, well, again, there's a foreign tool that I use. It's so sad that it's a foreign tool. It's called LastPass.com. LastPass.com is it's both for the individual and the enterprise levels that can be used. So it means that within your organization, nobody would allow to write out passwords or to save passwords in an Excel sheet. Passwords can be shared, encrypted electronically. Passwords is really the very first step when it comes to security. There are other things like the kind of coding and but those are more technical details. I think for everybody, for every layman, one of the things that make people scared of adapting technology or using the internet is that they heard the issue of, oh, my friend tried this and my friend's account was hacked, or my friend's ATM was used, so I don't want to touch ATM. Or, those are the process. But you see, those things happen because of carelessness. You give people the leeway. So the very first thing is that you must be conscious of your password, and then you must also be conscious about the kind of the websites you visit. Websites, a lot of websites share malware. So malware, simply drop a malware in your system. Everything you type, your banking information, everything, it comes to my system. So, and that can happen replicated to about 1,000 systems at the same time, the same very second. Without even just write a code and just send, and the code does the work for you. So you must be careful about the website you visit, because that's where it starts from. The website you visit. So the website, it drops on a system within a big. It's very simple. You have a large network of computers, and then I am, for example, the hacker, and I'm somewhere. So I get access to one of the computers. If there is, I just need to just find a loophole, and then I just can have access to every single 1,000 of the computers on the network.
So businesses, who should they be talking to make sure that these loopholes are plugged, at least, if not totally plugged, 3/4 of it should be plugged, and so that they don't begin to lose their customers' information and in the process lose their customers' trust?
That is one big risk about social banking and all the ICT banking that we are all adapting. That's the truth. Somebody has, just imagine what would happen if somebody just is able to break in and just create, it's going to be huge. So what they should do is, today you have, as I told you about ethical hacking, number of youths involved getting trained in this is growing. I mean, in 2012, Nigerians came third in the cyber worldwide hackers competition.
There's actually a competition for hackers.
Yes, there is. Yeah, because I mean, and that's why there has to be a careful thought out process. I mean, you can't, for example, I'm not encouraging this, but you get a young guy who is sending scam, and then you send him to prison. You are not doing the right thing. Yes, that's what they do in the US. Take this guy, find a way to fix him, and find out what is wrong with him, fix him, and take this guy somewhere, if it's the SSS or whatever, and let this guy invest, because if you take him and go and waste him away, you're wasting yourself. Because guess what? The hackers are even more smarter, they are more daring, they don't sleep night and day. And their goal is to, where's the next havoc that we can wreak?
So
power plants can be taken electronically, cars can be taken electronically, a lot can happen electronically. So we just need to have a cybersecurity mindset that is positive. We must be ready for it. I mean, today most of the cars are becoming more electronic. So it means that I could actually find a way to find the code of the car and then do some stuff and then begin to control where the car is going to. That's a possibility. A lot can happen. So, but again, as a nation, all we need to do is just sit up and then say, okay, a lot of our people are moving this way. How can we ensure that this mass of people are protected? That's very critical. Otherwise, it just takes a group of, there's a group called the Syrian army, the Syrian cyber army. They are wreaking havoc. Twitter, Facebook, they hack accounts at any time they want, just to get back at whoever they want to get back to. We must understand that it is our onus as a people and as a government to enjoy technology, but understand the risk and find a way to, rate the risk, because the risks are there. You can't rule that out.
Well, thank you so much, Fred, for joining us on the program this morning. It's been an insightful and enlightening conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, I've been speaking with an ICT social media expert, Fred Agbata, and we've been looking at leveraging on ICT to improve business development. And as I said, the conversation has been quite enlightening. I'd like to thank Chinelu for sending in her tweet. We're not able to read it owing to time constraints, but hopefully we'll read the next one that she's sending. But that's the program for today, the last one for the week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Harriet Agbeni.